a big. Nice little chunk. Flipping black blue jig on a dock. Not a giant, nice little bass. Doing some late summer bass in here. Shallow water edition this time. You're gonna get up on the bank. There's always bass shallow. It doesn't matter what time of year it is or what the water color is. This lake happens to be pretty stained, so usually a better shallow bite in those kinds of waters. But we're gonna put a jig in our hand and a frog in our hand and just kind of junk fish the bank. A lot of boat docks on this lake. There's some overhanging willow trees, stuff like that. But just gonna burn bank and show you how to catch them shallow in the summer. It's a good way to get them too. A little better one. Yeah. Nice little chunker. Up under that dock. Nice fish. Close to 3 pounds. So you definitely still catch nice ones shallow all summer. The key you really want to look for is shade. I mean, most case scenarios it's going to be docks, but it could be overhanging trees or, you know, matted up grass. In the summertime, if they're gonna be shallow, they'll be in the shade of some kind. You know, when it comes to dock fishing, I typically prefer a jig over a Texas rig. A wacky stick worm works really well, but you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time fishing each dock. I kind of, you know, gonna come in and make 3-4 casts at the best looking stuff on there and keep rolling. Where with a wacky stick worm, you're spending a lot of time waiting for it to sink. So in my opinion, I think a jig's probably the best skipping bait there is. 3/8, ½ ounce, I'd say are probably the best sizes to skip. You get any jigs heavier than that and you're really fighting the weight when you're trying to skip it underneath there. But at the same time, if you get too light, like a quarter, it's hard to get enough momentum when you're swinging it out there to get a good skip. So 9 times out of 10 for me on boat docks, it's a ½ ounce jig. That's a better one. Not real big. Nice little chunk. Fat little boat dock bass. The thing I've noticed today is it seems like a lot of the fish are, oh, there's another one right there. Seems like a lot of the fish are shallower on the boat docks. That's one thing I don't see a lot of people do. Seems like most of the guys kind of like go down and hit the edge, you know, that front platform and the boat lift or whatever, but I've had a lot of my bites today just on the walkways going down, and I think a lot of people skip those, but you know, they got the same shade and cover the rest of the dock does, and especially in these like dirtier water lakes, the fish don't need a lot of depth even in the summer up north, just because our water really never gets that hot. So that's just one other thing to look for is you know, really fish the whole dock, up and down every set of poles, rather than just hitting the ends like most people do and keep going. You can get a lot more fish off the boat docks if you fish the whole thing versus, you know, just kind of hitting them ends. This particular rod's a 7-foot medium heavy Daiwa Tatula Elite, Brent Ehrler edition. I do like a fast reel on boat docks, just when I'm covering water and get my jig in really quick. And a lot of times on boat docks, because they are so shallow, the fish will eat it and really move a lot. So, you know, sometimes you flip in there and go to pick up on your jig and it's just a bunch of slack. So having that 8-to-1 allows me to get down tight on it really fast, get the slack out of my line, make sure I get a good hook set on those fish. I'm running 30-pound braid to a 20-pound Suffix Advanced Fluorocarbon leader. This isn't something where you want to get in there with 10-pound line or even 15-pound line, because you hook, there's a lot of metal on these docks. Even the lakes that got zebra mussels, we get a lot of zebra mussels on the lifts and on the posts. So when you hook a big fish under that dock and he's fighting you around the pole, you need that big line to get him out. I don't care if it's clear water, I'm always gonna throw, on a jig anyways, at least 20-pound line. But one thing you definitely wanna keep an eye on when you're fishing these boat docks, there's a lot of wear and tear on your gear. I'm always constantly checking my line, for sure at least the first foot up from the jig, checking for nicks. When you're rubbing over those posts or fighting fish along there, they'll tear your line up, so keep an eye on that. Retie often. It'll save you from breaking off that big one when he does bite. Oh God. Stay on. Freaking giant, dude. Come here, open your mouth. I got him. Look at that. You can catch big ones all year up shallow. You can choke the little outcast cage fighter jig. Fishing boat docks again. That one was way up on the walkway. Oh, he wasn't coming up. But big, beautiful bass up shallow, middle of the summer, hottest part of the year. It's August in Minnesota, catching fish out a foot of water. Look for that shade, but that's an awesome one. You can catch fish like that all year up shallow. I know there's a lot of fish out deep, and that's fun too, but you know, there's always a good bite shallow. Look for the shade, and that's been Seth Feider with Midwest Outdoors doing a little summertime boat dock skipping.